From FS Securities, we are an education and information firm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. Every morning I go through what happened overnight on the financial markets and try to forecast what we may see these coming days or weeks. I'll show you how investors and traders may make money on our stock market or maybe on the overseas markets. I'll show you what is hot and what is not, and what you should hold and what you should fold. And by the way, if you like this presentation, why don't you review it and rate it and share it if you like, and hopefully you will actually see some more feedback from you to tell us exactly what we do right and what we do wrong. Okay, now in terms of what happened overnight, you can see here that the Dow was down 354 points or 1.3%, almost absorbing the various 2 days of profit. You can see here 2 days ago it was 160, 165, and now it's all gone in 1 day. The S&P 500 down 40 points or 1.2%. The Nasdaq was down 2.3%. And you can see that 2 days ago it was down by 0.8. So you can see the Nasdaq at the moment is being hammered badly, worse than the Dow and the S&P 500. 86 points down, 25 points up, and then 244 points down. But some people may say the Nasdaq and the stocks in the Nasdaq were actually overpriced. In Europe, the STOXX 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, you can call that almost steady at 3,371, and that's actually below where it was 2 days ago, or actually 3 trading days ago. And the FTSE 100 index, 6,211, again also down from 3 trading days. The DAX almost steady at 13,103. The Nikkei 225 in Japan at 22,751, also below where it was 3 days ago, but I believe the Japanese market is closed for 4 days. In China, the Shanghai index 4,712, steady from the day before, but above what it was 3 trading days ago. Our market, 6,094, we're up 19 points yesterday or 0.3%. Compare that with the closing price 3 days ago, and it's actually down nearly 60 points, if that is correct. The futures this morning are showing that the market most likely will open down 52 points or 0.9%. But remember that yesterday we said that the market is likely to open up 7 points, ended up gaining 19 points. And the day before, 3 days ago, down, forecast 63 points down and ended up with 81 points down. So, okay, I would say that more or less there is a good, reasonable chance that the market will open lower this morning and remains lower right through the morning. Gold, $19 up to 1,884. That's a good rise. Silver, which by the way had, as you can see here, 7% 3 days ago, 8% up 2 days ago, and you can say that is only a small retraction from the gain that it had the last 2 days, which you can actually add them up. That's nearly 15.5% up. So 1.6% down on 1 day is not really a great deal. Brent oil, $43.32 US per barrel. And West Texas crude oil, $41.06 US per barrel. Soybeans up $3 overnight, $8.98 versus $8.93 3 trading days ago. The Australian dollar, 70.9, giving back a little bit of what we've seen the last couple of days when it went up above 71 US cents. We'll also give you 61.2 euro cents, 55.7 British pence, and 107 New Zealand. And people who follow iron ore price was down 0.7%, that's less than 1%, and was trading at $110.12 US per ton. Bitcoin, for those who follow Bitcoin, had a good day yesterday overnight, 225 US up, taking the Bitcoin to 9,605, and that, by the way, converts to 13,525 Australian dollars, up $395. Looking at the charts, this is the Dow, the weekly and the daily. We look at charts quite extensively because we pick up all the indicators. We have 8 indicators, and we need 5 indicators on the weekly to tell us whether we are bullish, means up, bearish means down, or neutral, going sideways. And then we actually look at the other time frame, a lower time frame, and provided there is confirmation, then we trade it either bullish, bearish, or neutral. So let's have a look at, see here, the market from the very highest point, which I think it was 29,700, just below the 30,000 level for the Dow, falling all the way to 18,000 something, and then very quickly retraced back to the 50%, hovered around the 50% retracement from high to low, and hung around that level for a while, and then zoomed up and then down. One very big week, that's the weekly chart, and then another week below it, and then now very slowly we are really going back to the highest point of what we've seen several weeks ago, about 7 weeks ago. Now the market, you can see here that that's the weekly. This week, after 4 trading days, it's almost where it opened. It opened here, went up, came down, and at the moment sitting exactly where it opened. So that is actually almost, you can say, a neutral position. However, the high is slightly below the high of the previous candle, but then the low is above the low from the previous candle. So that, you can say, it's an inside candle, so we're going to ignore it and wait until the next candle. Of course, there is one more trading day this week, and provided nothing extraordinary happens tonight, we may see that that candle will remain still an inside candle in comparison to the candle before. Looking at the indicators, the parabolic stop and reverse, that is shown by those red dots, is bullish because they are below the candles. Stochastic slightly above that line, but above the red, so that's still bullish. The 9-week, that's the orange, if you can see that orange line, is above and crossed above the 21-week moving average. That is bullish and promising. So I would say on the weekly there is more bullish trend than bearish. And of course you've got the Bollinger Band, and the upper band may actually offer some kind of resistance. So are we likely to see an excess exceeding level of what we've seen here, and test the 28,280? Again, depends on the unemployment figures, depends on the coronavirus, whether there is a vaccine or not, whether there are more people being infected. A lot of factors that will affect these movements. Looking at the daily, again, the parabolic stop and reverse, those red dots, bullish, below the candles. Stochastic, bullish. And the only thing that worries me, see, yesterday was actually a red candle, means it opened here, closed there, and at one stage it was even lower. But look at the volume. The volume was the highest level for a number of days. So I always focus on when the market is down and the volume is up. That is actually a confirmation that there is more movement in that direction coming in the coming week or coming days. So I would say there is maybe a chance for 1 or 2 days to go down before maybe we go up again. All right, looking at our market here, that's the weekly, that's for the ASX 200, the market gauge, taking the top 200 companies, 200 stocks. And by the way, the 200 stocks makes up nearly about 70% of the total market in market capitalization. All right, now the parabolic stop and reverse, bullish because below the candles. Stochastic is very confirming a bullish trend, well above the 80% line. It's trading at 90.5%. The 9-week has just crossed above the 21-week moving averages, and that's actually very positive. It really confirms that there is a major reversal. It took a while, but remember, it takes a lot longer for the week than for the daily to actually move those moving averages. The one thing, however, you can see there is a conversion between the upper band and the lower band of the Bollinger Band. And as long as those candles remain above the 21, because remember, the Bollinger Band is made up of the 21 moving average, and then you've got 2 standard deviation up and 2 standard deviations down. So as long as we have a conversion, which after the conversion there is usually an explosion or an opening, so we might see the market on the weekly going further up. But now let's see what's happening on the daily. The the stochastic bullish, parabolic stop and reverse bullish. The 50-day moving average, that's the thick orange line, crossed above the 100-day moving average. That is bullish. But both of these moving averages still below the 200. While in America, the candles have actually gone above the 200, which is very strong. So there is no doubt in my mind that the market in America has moved, has actually almost retraced more than 75% of the fall that we've seen in March. While in our market, we've only reversed about 61.8%, and we're still flirting with that level. We need to see the candles above that level, and we like to see those moving averages really approaching the 200. Once the candles go above the 200, usually that's an indication from a technical point of view that the market for the long term is moving upward. And the same thing when the market went below the 200, we said there was quite a number of months or weeks that the market will continue to be on the bearish side. And for every strong bearish sign, there is always a reversal one day. It could be sooner, it could be later. All right, so in summary, you've got more of a bullish trend indicators. Of course, a lot of things can change meanwhile, and everything can change. However, I think from the technical analysis that we have in front of our eyes, we can see that there is a momentum for the upside, and that will also drag the Australian market upward as well. Now we have a mechanical system. From the charts, we pick up signals. For the investor, we look at the monthly and the weekly. For the conservative traders and the aggressive trader, we actually look at the weekly and the daily, as we've seen on the previous slide. Well, the previous slide have indicated that on Saturday morning, that's a number of days ago. Remember, the weekly, we only change once a week. We don't touch them. Once they give you the indicators at the end of the week, we wait until the end of this week before we give you some more indicators. However, the daily, they change every day. And as long as you have confirmation from the daily to the weekly, we can have more confidence. And what we see here, the Dow Jones, we continue to be bullish for most traders. The Nasdaq, although that on Saturday morning for the conservative trader, we were actually neutral. As you can see, the last couple of trading days, we moved from neutral for the conservative trader to bullish. So the Nasdaq, despite the 2.4% drop yesterday, overall the trend is still bullish. But you need to remember that some of those indicators are lagging. We have three major leading indicators. Of course, the volume, the parabolic stop and reverse, and stochastics. They happen to be more leading than the moving averages. All right, now gold turned this morning to be bullish. We were bullish for a number of weeks, or a number of days, I would say. We had 3 weeks ago, we said very strongly bullish. We remained bullish for the aggressive and the very aggressive trader, but we turned neutral for the investor. And then somehow the volatility of the gold price going up and down, eventually now we are on Saturday morning bullish for the investor. And you can see here, we remain bullish for the investor for a number of days. And this morning we can see we are bullish for all investors and traders. Silver continues to be very strongly bullish. Crude oil, that's the West Texas crude oil, we turned bullish today. And looking at the Australian dollar, bullish. We remain bullish for a number of days. And the euro, if you want to trade the euro, you're making some money, some good money on the euro. It's been bullish for a number of days. Okay, by the way, this slide will be on the website shortly, and all you have to do is go to the website and you have 15-day free trial, and you can get all these presentations. All right, from our market point of view, these are the sectors. Again, the weekly, they only change at the end of the week. And we started the week with bearish for the energy. And you can see here, we remained bearish all week, except this morning, we turned from bearish to neutral. So if you went short, maybe it's time to take some money out. We were actually strong on the materials, meaning BHP, Rio, and Fortescue. And you will see that BHP and Rio and Fortescue have done very well. So if you took that as being one of the recommendations and you traded on Monday morning, you should have made some money. Consumer staples, which includes Woolworths and West Farmers, you'll see that until this morning we were bullish, strongly bullish, but we turned neutral for the conservative trader. So if you are a conservative trader and you trade from one week to another, remember the investor trades from month to month, and the very aggressive trader trades from one day to another. So you've got here some recommendations, and of course all I can say that these recommendations have got about 60 to 75% probability of success. There is no guarantee, and of course there are too many variables in the market, and of course a lot of things can change the direction very quickly. All right, now for our market, again I told you BHP was still bullish. Remember BHP was up nearly 10% or 7% previously in previous days, but for the last 2 days we've seen BHP dropping 3.4% and 0.7%. That's nearly 4%, taking half of the gain that we've seen previously. And you can see we started with bullish for the aggressive and the very aggressive trader. We got the conservative trader into the trade, and then we actually turned bullish for the investor and neutral for the conservative trader. It's really crazy here. But Newcrest Mines, we should be doing some money, making some good profit on Newcrest Mines and any gold stock. Rio did very well, even though we've had losses the last couple of days, but not as bad as BHP, and the indicators continue to be bullish across all type of clients. Again, of all the banks, ANZ neutral, CBA bullish for the traders, Macquarie Bank bullish for the traders, and Westpac neutral for everybody. Again, you've got to really take these recommendations from one day to another, and you need some more confirmation, and of course you need to talk to us. Remember, the indicators here, the technical indicators, give you about 65% to 75% probability of success, and they only, to make a decision, there are still 35% in the weight of the trade in fundamental factors such as ratios, debt to equity ratio, return on equity, and price earning growth. All these take into consideration what happens to whether you should trade or not. Okay, we like to look at volume. You can see the volume the last 3 days have been increasing, even though we've had 2 days of rises and 1 day of decline. Remember, here we've got, of all the trades that we have, 47% of all the trades were up 2 days ago, and yesterday we had 37% of all the trades going up and 24% going down. So the market is very excited here, and you've got more momentum, more volume going up. Obviously it brings a lot more mums and dads and institution into the market. Here we've got advances over declines taking into consideration every 5 previous days. So if you look at the last 5 previous days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got 3 increasing days versus 2 declining. You put them all together and you end up with got a substantial advances over declines. If you look at over the last 10 weeks, that's 50 days, the advances overall is 52.5% to advances versus decline and advances. The total market is actually the total is about you've got 47%, 47.5% for declines. Okay, yesterday we've seen Coca-Cola Amatil going up by 5.4%. These are the most active, and this was done at night. Tabcorp, it's highlighted in yellow because we've got 2 days of rises. So you look here, Tabcorp was up nearly 5% yesterday, and Tabcorp was up nearly 1% the day before. If there are 2 days of rises in the most active, we highlight them in yellow. QBE, you want to have a look at QBE. QBE has had also a very good volume, 4.1% yesterday and 1.7% the day before. 2 days in a row, price rising means something. Again, all of this will be on the website shortly, but you can see here QBE, Downer EDI, Santos, Oz Mineral, Newcrest Mines, Goodman Group, SEZZLE. We need to have a look at this company, SEZZLE, and Woodside Petroleum. Woodside Petroleum nearly 1% yesterday and 1.3% the day before. All right, now announcement today. Looking down here, so far we've had announcement. Home sales, existing home sales. Trump previously, early in the week, made a wrong statement saying that the price of all houses increased by 21%. Obviously he was wrong, because the price index was down 0.3%, but there was 21% increase in the sales. But that meant coming from almost negligible number of sales the month before. Well, this has been revised again, and they can see the existing home sales was 4.7 million new sales. What they expected was 4.7 million, 4.8 million, but it's better than the previous month. You can see the previous month there were only 3.9 million new homes, new existing homes being sold, people changing homes. Well, recently there were only 4.7. crude oil inventories, 4.9, that's an increase. And that's not really good, because when you have an increase in the inventories, it means you got more oil that you are consuming. So that should really drop the price of oil. Okay, announcement today. Well, we know that President Trump will speak at 11:30. We had that's yesterday. We don't see the changes here, but the changes yesterday we can see here. That all the changes here in Canada. Australian leading index 0.4%. I'm just going to skip through this. Okay, now every day we scan the market. We look for companies that have actually had excess volume. Excess volume, how do we know that? We look at the last 50 periods, in other words 50 days or 50 weeks, and we calculate the moving average of the volume over that 50 period, and then we compare the very last volume to that moving average. For instance, QBE over the last 50 days had 6.9 million transactions, buy and sell shares. Well, yesterday the price went up by 4% and the volume was nearly double the average volume. So that really is telling us something. Price goes up, volume goes up, it is indication that there is excitement in the market, and there is a reason for it. Santos up 3.5% and slightly above the average volume. Newcrest Mines 10% above the average, with nearly 2% rise in the price. Nothing on the downside for the top 50. This section here is for top 50. And for the aggressive trader index, the price was up 1.6% and the volume was nearly 4 times the average, from 1.5 million or 1.6 million to 8.4 million. And Galaxy continues to excite us. We are trading Galaxy at the moment, 9.5% rise in the price and 55% above the average volume. On the downside, Genworth Mortgage, not sure about this company, and Bubs Australia. Again, I'm not really sure about this company. Okay, finally our disclaimer. Everything we mentioned to you today is for just general advice. We don't know your financial circumstances, so obviously before you take any action you need to consult with us or with your professional advisor. And remember, there is risk in the market and there is no guarantee, and you need to understand your own risk appetite, whether you are an investor or a trader, and how much risk are you prepared to take. If you have any questions, all you have to do is write to me at george@FS Securities. FS stands for Full Service Securities, fssecurities.com.au. If you're sending me a text or you're calling me, 61 is the country code, 61. You don't need the 0. That's my mobile number. It's 61-411-259526. For you guys ringing or text me from Australia, anywhere in Australia, you don't need the code, the country code. You go straight to 0411-259526. Well, finally, happy trading, and I hope you make some money today.